December 7th, 1941. The sky over Pearl Harbor shatters. Japanese bombers roar in formation, sunlight glinting off torpedo racks and dive bomber wings. Battleships erupt, airfields burn. It's one of the darkest mornings in American history. But let's change one thing. On an empty runway, covered in a dusty brown tarp, sits something no one in 1941 could explain. No propellers, no visible cockpit, no rivets. Just a smooth black triangle of metal, silent, cold, and impossible. The B-21 Raider, a bomber from the future, dropped straight into the beginning of World War II. So, the question is, what happens when the most advanced stealth bomber on Earth enters a war where radar barely exists? Could it stop the attack on Pearl Harbor, or is it just one aircraft against hundreds? And what does invisible even mean in a world that doesn't understand stealth? Before we see what happens, we need to understand just what exactly crashed into 1941. The B-21 Raider isn't just a bomber, it's a ghost, a flying shadow built with materials nobody in the 1940s has ever touched. Carbon composites, advanced polymers, radar-absorbent skin, technology decades beyond the imagination of any military on Earth at that time. It can fly over 6,000 miles without refueling. It can carry precision-guided JDAM bombs, long-range cruise missiles, penetrator warheads, and classified payloads the U.S. hasn't even revealed publicly. And the most frightening part? It doesn't show up on radar, not even a blip. In a world where early radar systems struggled to detect slow aircraft at short distances, the B-21 is a literal ghost slipping through the sky. No warning, no signals, no engine sound at range, nothing. But it isn't invincible. It needs modern fuel, a modern maintenance crew, modern parts, and modern software updates, none of which exist in 1941. Just like the F-22 competitor example. The B-21 gets one chance, one mission, one impossible moment. After that, it's done. The Japanese attack force at Pearl Harbor includes 353 aircraft, fighters, torpedo bombers, dive bombers, all coordinated with precision. But every plane has the same weakness. They need visual confirmation to attack. No radar guidance, no computers, no heat-seeking missiles. Everything depends on pilots seeing their target, and they won't see the B-21, not even for a second. Meanwhile, anti-aircraft guns rely on spotters, range finders, human prediction, and luck, none of which matter when the enemy isn't even visible. The first wave of Japanese planes approaches, 183 aircraft flying low over the water, engines screaming, sunlight flickering across their wings. But before they even reach the harbor, something impossible happens. At 40,000 feet, totally invisible, the B-21 opens its bomb bay. A pair of JDAMs drop silently, slicing through the cold morning air. No whistle, no screech, just silence. 10 seconds later, the carriers offshore quake. Massive explosions rip through the Japanese strike force while the bombers are still miles away from Pearl Harbor. Pilots look back in shock. They didn't hear a plane drop anything. There was no enemy fighter, no bomber above them, just death from nowhere. Panic spreads across the formation. Dive bombers scatter. Fighters break formation. Torpedo bombers dip lower, trying to avoid whatever ghost is attacking them. But the B-21 is already lining up the second strike. This time, it targets the airfields the Japanese were planning to bomb. Another silent drop. Massive shockwave. Runways crack, explosions punch upward through clouds of dust. To American soldiers on the ground, it feels like a miracle. Something is attacking the Japanese before the Japanese can even open fire. They look up, but there's nothing there. Not a dot, not a shadow, not even a sound. Just sky. Japanese pilots are trained for everything, except this. Planes vanish below them in massive fireballs. Ships explode miles offshore. The air shakes. Nobody knows where the attack is coming from. Some pilots think they're being hit by Allied naval guns. Others think it's sabotage. A few even think it's mechanical failure. None of them realize the truth. A bomber they can't see is destroying their entire operation. The Japanese command tries to adapt. Fighters climb to search the sky. Dive bombers circle back. But nothing, absolutely nothing, shows up. The B-21 is flying high above them, silent and invisible. 170 more Japanese aircraft head toward Pearl Harbor. But this time, the sky is waiting for them. The B-21 doesn't dogfight. It doesn't need to. It does what it was designed to do: precision elimination from extreme range. Cruise missiles streak downward at near supersonic speeds, leaving thin white trails that vanish seconds later. The Japanese formation breaks instantly. Explosions rip the sky apart. Bombers shred mid-air. Fighters are thrown sideways by shockwaves. Panic becomes chaos. Pilots look everywhere, but there is no enemy. The B-21 is never seen, not once, not by anyone. But like your competitor's twist, the future technology has a problem: fuel. The B-21 runs on modern JP-8 or similar blends, fuel that does not exist in 1941. Even if it lands safely, no refuel, no maintenance, no spare parts, no computer diagnostics. If a single sensor goes offline, nobody in 1941 can fix it. It gets one mission, one flight, one impact. After that, the greatest bomber on Earth becomes an empty shell sitting on a runway. The Japanese carriers, even damaged, still have thousands of gallons of aviation fuel. Their planes can relaunch. Their mechanics can repair. Their logistics function. The B-21 has none of that. So the question is, can a single bomber change history? With two perfect payloads, it could sink carriers, destroy battleships, obliterate fuel depots, cripple entire fleets, wipe airfields before they're bombed. Instead of hundreds of American aircraft destroyed, maybe only dozens are lost. Instead of 8 battleships hit, maybe only a few take damage. The death toll drops dramatically. The attack is still brutal, but no longer overwhelming. Pearl Harbor survives in a completely different state, and the Japanese retreat in total confusion, never understanding what hit them. News spreads fast. Pilots claim they were hit from an invisible enemy. Sailors talk about bombs that fell without warning. Generals describe perfect precision strikes from nowhere. Rumors explode. Some call it an angel. Some call it a secret U.S. weapon. Some think it's a UFO, but nobody knows the truth. Not even the Americans. All they know is this: something saved them. And whatever it was, it changed the opening of World War II. Before fuel runs low, the B-21 uses its last missiles to strike one more target. The Japanese fleet itself. Missiles dive from the stratosphere. Carriers detonate. Destroyers flip sideways. Cruisers break in half. The entire Japanese naval strategy collapses in minutes. The Pacific War doesn't start the same way. Every strategy shifts. Every timeline shifts. Every battle's outcome moves. One bomber reshapes global history, even if nobody ever sees it. Fuel hits critical. The B-21 has minutes left. It returns to the runway it started from. The same runway where soldiers first saw the tarp-covered shape. It lands silently. Engines power down. That's it. No fuel, no bombs, no maintenance crew, no understanding of its systems. The B-21. Raider becomes a mystery sitting in the middle of a 1940s airfield and a weapon nobody can use again. But its one mission changed everything. The attack on Pearl Harbor failed. The U.S. Pacific Fleet survives. The Japanese war plan collapses on day one. One bomber, one mission, one rewrite of history. Could the B-21 Raider win World War II on its own? No. But could it change the opening of the war forever? Absolutely. And what happens if a modern destroyer enters the Battle of Midway? Watch the video on the screen to find out.